What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Figure It Out of the Basement's Black Series talk show. I'm Nate, joined with Justin.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday the 13th. Jason is alive. Jason never dies. And today is his day, Nate.
The little boy was drowned in the lake.
Ma'am, we didn't find no boy.
You're old dude.
Quick side note, we will be at the Music Box Theater today, Friday the 13th, in Chicago, Illinois, checking out the marathon. We'll be there for 4, 5, 6, 7, but we'll be getting dinner during one of those.
Right.
So, I don't know, Chicago's a big city. I just thought maybe I'll throw it out there. Come say hi if you're going.
And today is also Hasbro PulseCon, so we will be just doing a topic video today, and we'll also be covering the reveals this Sunday, live 1 p.m. Central Time. I won't be there, but Justin, you'll be there.
I will be there, and I'll have some guests, and we'll do some fun stuff, and we'll be covering those Hasbro PulseCon reveals. Also, the STAP is going up for pre-order today, so join that Discord so you do not miss out on that pre-order link. It's going to be one of those things where the premium members get it an hour early before us peasants, but I'm sure we'll be able to get it. Piece of cake. Calling it now.
If it's anything like the Bloodfin, should be pretty easy.
Yep, but today we have a topic video because that's what we like to do on days of the reveals because it's not like we can cover those reveals today. Nate, the Black Series is worthless.
What about my kid's college tuition?
The Black Series is worthless, and we're fine with that. We do not care.
Yeah?
We do not care.
Recently, this has become another topic of discussion, a hot button issue in the community, if you will, because there has been a new slew of re-releases of super desirable, super valuable Black Series figures. Now they've officially gone back up for pre-order for regular retail price, thus destroying the aftermarket value of the original figure, and collectors are freaking out.
Yeah, and destroying is an overstatement.
Right.
It's not like it goes down to nothing, but it does devalue the previously existing figures. So there's like kind of 3 parts to this video. This is another yap sesh, so just buckle in and we'll take you for a ride. Number 1, let's just talk about the value. The Black Series being worthless, that would imply that it's like $0 might be an exaggeration, just some wordplay on our part.
Perhaps.
A more accurate descriptor would be it has basically remained retail. It's insane how close the, every single Black Series release ever, if you add all that up and compare it to the aftermarket value, it is dead close.
Right.
Like insane. Like, let me just look down at our official notes here. Retail, $19,011. Resale value, $19,522. That varies from day to day. There's some other sources that have confirmed this as well. So about 19,000. So Nate, if you've been in the line since day 1 and you have bought everything, kept everything in mint condition, new in-box sealed, you would have made $511 in 11 years?
Woo! That's a great return on investment.
You know business.
I am business.
How does that make you feel, Nate?
Well, Justin, as we've always said on the channel, forever and always, we've never collected the Black Series or any action figures that we collect for value.
Yeah.
I personally am collecting these things because I want a physical representation of whatever it is I enjoy, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Dune, whether it's Batman, Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, whatever it is. If it's something I really, really enjoy, chances are I'm like, I want that little plastic representation of that character because I enjoy that character or I enjoy that thing. I'm never thinking in the back of my mind, well, I'll buy this, and if I keep it in the box in 20 years, it'll be worth $1 billion.
Yeah, and so about the value, you would never actually get that return on your investment. That's like another thing is it's not even 19,522. Realistically, it's significantly lower than that because if you were to turn around right now and sell off your entire collection, which is most likely loose, or at least previously opened if you kept the packaging, there are so many figures that are just absolutely worthless. So you're going to have to do the thing where you include a few good figures and desirable figures with a bunch of slop and sell it by individual lots. You would never ever get $19,522. Nobody could sell their entire collection at once. You're gonna have to infinitely piece it out. The amount of time it would take you, like, you are never going to get an ROI on Star Wars Black Series. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think specifically when it comes to Star Wars collecting in general, the sort of mentality has been going on for a long time of, you know, those original Kenner figures are worth $1 million bajillion. So I'm going to buy whatever Star Wars figures are coming out because I'm going to hold on to them. And then people are thinking in their heads, these figures are going to be just as valuable as those.
And then Power of the Force happened.
Right. I was going to say, this is leading me into saying the prime example of this is the Power of the Force. That was a line. Star Wars figures came back. People were very excited. A lot of people bought them on the speculation that they would be valuable one day. And here we are in present day, and
they're worthless.
I would say 99% of the Power of the Force line is completely worthless. You can get most of those figures for $3 or less. So it backfired. And that's why I don't understand why people are collecting Black Series for value, because there has been a pattern in the past that has clearly shown that, for the most part, Star Wars figures don't really hold their, like, this crazy value that people think they do.
It's just kind of like a pop culture osmosis thing. Because, like, how many conversations have you had with family, like, you take your toys out of the box?
Right.
Are you insane? You're devaluing that thing. I'm like, you realize I've sold loose figures for over the 20 that I paid for it because X amount of time has gone by in the market or whatever. Like, we know what we're talking about, of course. Right, fellas? So, another thing that affects the value is the handful of Black Series items that are just, like, astronomical, like 5 times the amount of retail. So that's going to kind of bolster that value up a little bit. So it's probably not even, like, truly $19,500.
Definitely not.
Yeah, and another reason why this is relevant again, like Nate said earlier, is the reissues. You guys know we've been covering these reissues for some time now. A bunch of figures released in the exact same packaging, exact same figures. Most of them super high value on the aftermarket, so people are excited for it. But there's just this mentality and comments on, like, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook groups, and Discord, social media, whatever, about a certain amount of people being mad that their figures are getting devalued. And it's like, my figures are getting devalued. They're worthless now. So that's kind of why it's relevant. Again, even, like, a fan channel like the British fan channel Star Action Figures, I'd like to read a quote from one of their recent Facebook posts. Quote, "It is killing the line. And what no Star Wars line needs right now is another flood of collectors, figures devalued, and more collectors driven away. Absolute madness." As Black Series content creators here on a social media YouTube, I've seen the opposite effect where an infinite amount of people are like super hyped on these reissues, and it's like, finally I can get my Grail, like my Captain Rex. Like after all these years I can finally have a Rex. And I'm just like, I feel so great for my fellow collectors.
Yeah. It's nice to see so many people that have not been collecting the line for as long as we have finally get these highly desirable figures without paying an arm and a leg for them, especially when a lot of them are not very good figures. It's just because it's that character. That's why it's expensive, like Nihilus or Clone Commander, Obi-Wan.
Or it's just a rare figure.
Right. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. So it's great to see people get the figures that they want. And I really find it confusing that a fan channel website that sells action figures is upset that they're going to be selling more action figures. Like, Star Action Figures is not profiting off of the secondary market value of the Black Series or Hasbro.
And I know there's drama with like the UK getting those reissues. Yeah. So like they're probably frustrated about that, but it's like, you realize Hasbro doesn't get money off the secondary market. Stores don't. Hasbro doesn't. Like, why? If they see this super high aftermarket cost of like, I don't know, what's a recent one? There's $1 billion, Nihilus, or whatever. Like, if they see people paying 50, 60, 70 for Nihilus, why wouldn't Hasbro as a company look at that and be like, there's clearly a demand for this figure, let's reissue it?
Yeah, so then we'll make the money.
Right. And it's like, why would we take pleasure in knowing that other people don't have the toy that we have, Nate? You having this toy that thousands of other people don't have, well, guess what? Thousands of other people also have that same toy as you. So it's like, it's Star Wars. Like, why are you collecting Star Wars toys? Like, do you like Star Wars? Like, you're gonna have to pay $90 if you want this figure.
Yeah, like on one hand, I do understand that there is like a certain feeling when you have a figure that's rare and you're like, yeah, I got this figure, you know, I only paid $20 for it, but now it's worth 80 something dollars. There is like some kind of satisfying feeling behind that. It's almost like the feeling of like you got a deal, but it's just because you were collecting at the time and you were into the line.
Yeah, but and I would also understand for like other stuff like coins or even like Pokemon cards. Like I would more so understand for that.
Right. And that's kind of, again, what I have a hard time like wrapping my head around is just collecting action figures for value, especially modern action figures that are so mass-produced, widely available,
oversaturated. Like, do you know what line you're collecting? Like, do you know what company this is?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like, if I was, me personally, if I was trying to invest in something to make money, I would not choose modern action figures. I would choose stocks or, you know, coins or something, you know, gold, silver, tangible things, not pieces of painted, articulated plastic that will eventually degrade into dust.
Right. I think that's what differentiates it between like Pokemon cards or coins or something like that, because these Star Wars toys, like the whole reason why we collect them is because we love and appreciate Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as some, like you were saying, like stock market. Like, oh, I'm going to invest in Black Series. Like, that just sounds so stupid, because Hasbro has been re-releasing things since the very beginning. They've been repacking. They've been doing 40th anniversary for the OT films. They've been doing archive. They've been doing straight up reissues in the same packaging. Yep. This is Hasbro. This is Black Series we're talking about. And every time it happens, you get that new wave of shock and surprise.
And it's really bizarre. I mean, you can actually just go back in time on our channel, back to the very beginning, and you can see us buying repacked figures all the way back in 2017. When the line was only a couple years old, they were repacking figures in that 40th anniversary and New Hope wave. So it's, I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's so upsetting. I don't get why people would choose this line to collect for value when history has shown clear as day there is no long-term value. There's only short-term value.
Yeah, they will re-release everything. Like 90% of things will get a re-release. Take it from us, because people always say, like, well, it's easy for you guys to say. You guys have been in the game for so long. Do you know how much stuff that we've passed on? Because I just knew 4 years from now it'll get a re-release. Right. Jabba and the Hookah, the SDCC sets, like the Boba Fett or the Han and Carbonite. Like, they have re-released, like, almost there's almost nothing to re-release anymore.
We're getting pretty close.
And it's like, why? I do not care at all. I do not care if my entire collection tomorrow was worth $0. I would still look at my shelf and be like, that's awesome. Because I love Star Wars. I love the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and Clone Wars, and Rebels, and the Dark Times. So, like, Jedi Fallen Order, Rebels, Andor, The Mandalorian. You know, all the stuff that we like. Like, that's why we collect.
Right.
Because I want physical representation of something that I really enjoy. That is why those figures are on my shelf. And that is why I take pleasure in knowing that thousands of other people can now get the figures that they want. So, like Captain Rex. We've had Captain Rex for a very, very, very long time, Nate. We've had him since he came out. You found him for $3.
It was $6.
$6. Sure. $6. Do you care at all that that figure is now available to other people who really want it?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
It's, for me, if I just put myself in that scenario, I don't want to be the person that's paying $60, $70, $80, $90 for a figure that was originally $20. I don't want to do that. I mean, I don't do that, but that's simply because we understand that, especially a company like Hasbro, they will re-release everything.
Yeah.
They will do it. You just have to practice a little bit of patience. But just kind of jumping backward, though, Justin, it is important. You know, just collecting action figures, it should be because you enjoy the figures or the media you're collecting. And that's also... I
fully believe that.
That is also why Mini Rant comments when people say we should stop collecting the Black Series and collect other lines like G.I. Joe or... you know, Marvel, which I do collect Marvel Legends, but, you know, when they say, oh, stop collecting Black Series, just collect G.I. Joe Classified.
It's like, because look at everything it comes with. It comes with a bunch of accessories.
But it's, at the end of the day, it's just like, it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars. It's not what I want. I don't want to collect G.I. Joe, because if I collected G.I. Joe and I put it on my shelf, it would just mean nothing to me.
Right.
Essentially, to me, G.I. Joe, they're just a bunch of cool-looking army men, which is fine, but over a long period of time, I would eventually look at that and be like,
yeah,
why is this here?
It wouldn't matter if they were $5 a figure.
Right.
If it means nothing to you. We love Star Wars, so that's why we collect the Black Series. The Black Series isn't perfect. It should come with alternate hands.
Yes.
Should come with alternate heads. But I'm not going to collect something that isn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is like my top priority. And even if the figures are worthless, like I said, even if our entire collections got devalued, my appreciation for the figures would not go down at all.
Yeah.
Like, that is how much I do not care about aftermarket value. I don't look at the aftermarket value. I don't care. When I go to sell figures, I really don't care what it is. I'm giving Discord, people in the Discord, you guys know, it's not like I'm charging $30 a figure. Like, I'm going under...
That's for Facebook Marketplace.
That's for Facebook Marketplace. But, I mean, you know, it's always retail or under retail.
Yeah.
And it's just...
You're helping a fellow collector out. And when it comes to helping a fellow collector out, especially like someone you know, it's like value goes out the window. It's like, you want this figure? All right, let me, I'll sell it to you for what I bought it for.
Right. And I'm not saying you have to do that or you have to collect this way.
This is just our mentality.
Yeah, but it's just super relevant again because there was like that graphic posted of the value versus the aftermarket value, like retail versus aftermarket value, and everyone's like, wow, that there's only like a $400 or $500 difference. And again, all these reissues, we're in 100% support of the reissues. I do not care that my figure's value is going down. If that means a fellow collector here in the YouTube comments or the Discord, if that means they get to experience this figure that they really, really want, who am I to be like, you shouldn't have access to that? Yeah. I prefer thousands of other people to not have this figure, so me and the other thousands of people can just remain having the figure and
it's
doing nothing.
I can be cool and you could be lame.
You are not special. And yeah, it's just, I wanted to talk about just a little bit about why we collect. And the only answer to that question is we love Star Wars. There is literally no other answer to that question of why do you collect. Physical representation of the things you love.
Yep. And that is personally how I feel you should collect modern action figures. They are generally not going to hold long-term value. History has already shown at this point modern action figures have not held a true value over time.
Yeah, it might even be healthier for you.
Right.
Both mentally, financially. Like if you're like seriously, like some people put serious financial stress as like I just got to gobble it all up because FOMO, which that's a whole other topic video, how to defeat FOMO and financial stress and the mental stress of I need this, I need this, I need this. Focus on the things you like, my brothers and sisters. Focus on the things you like.
Yep. And when it comes to anything specifically Hasbro makes, be prepared for an eventual re-release. This literally goes for all of their action figure lines. Besides the HasLabs, be prepared. They will re-release whatever you bought or are holding on to hope that the value increases. I promise you, they're going to re-release it.
Yep. If you do collect for value, that's perfectly fine. You're into what you're into. You do what you do.
Yeah.
If you do disagree with what we're saying, please leave a comment down below. I really don't see a whole heck of a lot of counterpoints to what we're saying because look at the history of the line.
Yeah, well, Star Wars toys.
Black Series, yeah. $19,011. Resale value, $19,522. What is the counterpoint? What is the, well, back X amount of years ago, Black Series was all about value.
No, it really wasn't.
Look at the history of the line. Look at the amounts of repacks and repaints and reissues and carryovers that they've done. And I would love to hear any counterpoint from the stonk droids.
Yeah,
that's what we call them in the Discord. Stonk droids. I gotta pay my tuition off.
At the end of the day, you should collect what you love, what you want a physical representation of on your shelf, and the potential future value of said item should not affect whether or not you buy the item. That's just my opinion.
Well said.
I think that's just how it should be. I look around at my basement full of toys. I don't see one single figure out that I don't have some personal attachment to. And I can tell you, you could pick any one of these figures out, and I'd give you a little story about the personal attachment, whether I like the character, whether I like the show, you know. So I think that's the most important thing when it comes to collecting action figures, is you should be buying the stuff that you enjoy. Not just buying the stuff to hope you're going to make a buck someday. That's all we have for you on this week's episode. Little ranty, little ravey, but honestly, sometimes when we see this kind of rhetoric in the community, it's just like, what are we doing here?
I think this is ultimately positive, too.
Right.
It's in support of collectors.
Right. We are supporting collectors.
For the people, man.
Yeah.
We're fighting for the people.
No, we don't support scalpers. None of that. You know, we always accept and appreciate when figures are re-released. Justin and I, not only in Black Series but other action figure lines, have benefited greatly from action figures getting re-released. So again, the key thing to take away here is collect what you love, and also practice a little bit of patience, because that hot figure that's really expensive on the aftermarket, might just go up for pre-order for retail price tomorrow. As always, thank you so much for watching. We got to give a huge shout out and a special thank you to all of our current channel members. If you are in a position to help support us directly, we do have a couple different options. Check those out in the links down below in the description. Also, while you're there, join the Discord. That one's free, and it's a lot of fun to get connected with the community.
There's been a lot of new people joining, so welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome.
It's always nice to see you. I'll be in the DC, McFarlane, and NECA chats.
This guy.
I'm Nate. Join with Justin.
See you guys later.
And we will see you all next time on Out of the Basement.
Good video.
Yeah.
I hope something terrible doesn't happen to me.
I don't know, Justin. It is Friday the 13th.
I'm feeling a little thirsty. I'm gonna go up, get me a drink out of your fridge, free of charge.
I'll get working on this video here.
Yeah, as if you edit, figure it out.
Yeah. Who's going to send the audio to the Gmail?
Go.
Oh, fuck.
Take two.
Okay, so I turn, act, surprise, scream, and then you go in?
Yeah, and then I'll...
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Go.
Alright.